Hamilton's decision to depart Mercedes earlier than expected left a massive mark on the Silver Arrows this season, and as the team prepares to take the track in Bahrain this weekend, one question looms around Brackley, one that might shape the rivalry and partnership between the two British drivers. Russell has a massive point to prove this season, and there are lots of things that will be focused on this year, including one which might surprise you. So how could this season go for Hamilton, and will Russell be prioritised in terms of car development and team tactics? The 2023 and 2016 seasons in Formula 1 stand out due to the remarkable dominance of single teams, Red Bull and Mercedes, with win percentages of 95.5% and 90.5% respectively, with McLaren's 93.8% stronghold in 1988 following suit. However, for most fans, except perhaps the most die-hard Max Verstappen ones, the previous season lacked excitement, and with no significant championship battle beyond the first few races of the season, it felt predictably repetitive. In contrast, the 2016 season is remembered differently, despite some fans already feeling tired by Mercedes' dominance, and this is because, unlike Sergio Perez's very short challenge to Verstappen last year, both drivers from the Mercedes team were in contention for the title, and the rivalry between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg made for quite the appealing viewership. The intense Hamilton-Rosberg rivalry, marked by on-track clashes, made any subsequent developments, like Rosberg's retirement and Valtteri Bottas taking his place, pale in comparison, and Toto Wolff prioritised restoring harmony within the Mercedes team when he appointed Bottas, which led to 5 seasons of relative stability, with Bottas primarily playing the role of a supportive second driver. However, the arrival of George Russell as Bottas' replacement changed the dynamics, and while the tension between Hamilton and Russell hasn't reached the levels seen during the Hamilton-Rosberg era, they have only shared one podium together when Mercedes won, which doesn't give many opportunities for public displays of rivalry. Russell isn't hesitant to challenge Hamilton, and the successor is already challenging the established star, especially with Hamilton joining Ferrari in 2025, which puts Russell as Mercedes' future team leader, as Toto stated. Now, it wasn't quite the same as Barcelona 2016, but the intra-Mercedes crash in the 2023 Qatar Grand Prix put what's now the Black Arrows squad on similarly uncomfortable ground. The incident followed Hamilton and Russell's Suzuka battle, in which both went briefly off the road, and 2 bizarre instances of Mercedes pit wall miscommunications in qualifying that nearly led to its drivers colliding at Barcelona, then getting in each other's way in the Spa sprint shootout. If you remember, at Suzuka, Russell practically asked, very angrily I might add, about who they are trying to fight, each other or the others. And all this in a year where Mercedes really had no chance of title glory. Amongst all the predictable expectation management hot air ahead of this season, something else is discernible: hope. Because for many fans, it's the hope that Verstappen's supremacy will be challenged and a repeat of 2021's epic realised. For Mercedes, the hope is that it will be the team which provides such a test, and if that hope does become reality, the Hamilton-Russell rivalry automatically acquires fresh meaning, especially since the dynamic will change given Hamilton's departure. But even if Mercedes W15 falls short of providing the platform to embark on such a challenge, the upcoming season will be an important chapter in both drivers' careers, and for Hamilton, that yearning for a Mercedes resurgence is even more critically tied to his own chances of taking back the crown before he departs. Late in 2023, he was describing that year and the one before in these terms, saying that their first goal was discovery. This was because he and Mercedes were erratic, devoting much time to set up experiments in the hope of understanding and debugging the W13's awkward combination of porpoising and bouncing, and it took rather too long to learn that one was separate from, if related to, the other. Insiders revealed that these changes primarily revolved around abandoning the zero-pod aerodynamic concept, which Mercedes had initially adopted with the W13 and continued with the W14. Eventually, Hamilton's requests were honoured, leading to a redesign of the car with side pods similar to Red Bull's downwashing design. Despite the compromises this shift entailed, Hamilton found himself engaging in a lot less experimental stuff and ending the 2023 season feeling more consistently satisfied with his performance, particularly noting improvements in his racecraft and pace. This year, however, it will be an entirely different story for one specific reason which we all know about. Sky Sports F1 journalist Martin Brundle says that Lewis Hamilton will experience a transition this year where Mercedes won't want to share information with their outgoing driver, as the team will eventually slow down the feed of knowledge to Hamilton as his days at Mercedes become numbered, Brundle warned. You've got this transition point where Lewis will stop being invited to meetings, the Sky Sports expert said. He won't understand what's going on with development of the car and in the simulator. The team consciously, subconsciously will favour George. They've got to. Mercedes team principal Wolff has already insisted that he does worry about Hamilton's integrity in terms of taking secrets to Ferrari next year. Asked what type of knowledge Hamilton could feasibly bring with him to Italy, Brundle explained processes, philosophies, how the car works, what he likes, how he likes to sit, what he needs from a car to maximise his talent. He's got to integrate. That's hard. He won't speak the language or know the team like Charles Leclerc does. You need to find out where all the buttons are to press. That's why Lewis, I think, will want to try to take a few people with him, but there will be non-compete clauses, so he can't do that. You want to take some of your own gang with you when you go, so you can hit the ground running. And this is not the only problem Hamilton will be facing this season. His consistent excellence remains a valuable faculty for a driver now set to race on into his 40s, assuming nothing untoward prevents Hamilton making his third fresh F1 start at Ferrari. He had said, "I honestly hope I'm not racing at 40." back in 2021, but now he feels very differently, Ferrari having offered him the long-term contract he desired when Mercedes could not. But there's one final figure, of course, central to this nearly complete tale of teammates, the team boss, Toto Wolff. The Austrian has a new 3-year contract as F1 team principal with no performance clauses contained within. The announcement of it via the Daily Telegraph newspaper suggests this was more to do with image presentation and the importance of minimising disruption, that it is imperative to any successful operation. After all, he co-owns the squad and was hardly likely to sack himself, even after Mercedes' first winless season since 2011. Wolff elevated Russell to race alongside Hamilton after a 2-year stint as a Mercedes junior and 3 seasons learning F1 at Williams. The scenario playing out now is Wolff's to own. So too, ultimately, is Hamilton's departure. Having let Esteban Ocon head to Alpine Renault back in 2020, there is no obvious candidate to replace either Mercedes incumbent. Its latest fast-rising junior, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, is making waves in the lower Formula E, but now he's set to race for Prima Racing in Formula 2. His momentum must remain if he's to earn a future F1 evaluation, which surely would be at a smaller team. Such opportunities are harder for works squads to find now. Even the independent teams are more financially healthy, and it's no given he would join Williams, despite team boss James Vowles knowing Antonelli well from his time as Mercedes' former strategy chief, stating that doesn't mean he'll be in Williams necessarily during testing as the team develops its own prospects, Jack O'Sullivan and Franco Colapinto. If Mercedes is to turn its fortunes around as it desires, avoiding the inter-team warfare it has previously experienced is a must, and that, given the characters involved and with Hamilton heading off, is one of Wolff's challenges for 2024, even if the W15 isn't up to scratch. But the car challenge is the greater importance, which is why Hamilton says in pressure terms that there's a huge amount for sure on his boss right now. Handily for Wolff, Hamilton is clear that for everyone at Mercedes, including himself and Russell, that's the case not just for Toto, but globally, all of us. What do you think? Will Mercedes prioritise Russell, and will Russell even beat Hamilton this season in their head-to-head battle? Let us know what you're thinking in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.